Hi, this is Michael Pfeiffer. Welcome to another episode of the Metal Conversations podcast. I'm restarting the podcast. It's been a couple years since my last episode. I stopped doing the podcast because, quite frankly, it just kind of take a lot of time, and I have engineering work. I'm also developing courses for my website, and I also write course articles for the website and have to take care of other marketing things. So the amount of time that I had available just wasn't enough to spend time doing podcasting. In addition, I like to do other things besides work. And I have a lot of hobbies outside of this. So that's why I stopped doing the podcast. But I realized I would like to start redoing this. There are some things I want to talk about with respect to metallurgy and how metallurgy is used, and also about various aspects of the world and the metallurgical engineering perspective on that, and just maybe some discussions that might be slightly tangential to that. So hopefully I'll be able to continue to come up with a podcast every couple weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks going forward. And I'm expecting that the podcasts will be about 10 to 15 minutes long. So just to want to almost restart again from the very beginning. So I'm a metallurgical engineer. I work on product design and manufacturing, and helping to make better products at lower costs. Better means that they perform better, or the quality is better, and lower cost just means that the companies that are making the products can have better profits from that. My experience is in all aspects of product design and manufacturing. So I am involved with taking materials and figuring out how to shape them, how to select them, how to use them to make products. There are other areas of metallurgy that are also important that I don't get into, and that's like extractive metallurgy, which is metallurgy involved with pulling ore from the ground and converting that ore to metal that can be used to make metal bar and plate and sheet and wire and other metal products that are used to make components. There's also metal making. These are metallurgists who work in steel mills and aluminum mills and nickel mills and brass mills and so on. And there's also recycling, people who involve in the metallurgy of taking metals and recycling them to be able to use them over again. And finally, people involved in research. So my focus again is on product design and manufacturing. The articles I write that are on the website are also related to product design and manufacturing. And the courses I teach are with respect to product design and manufacturing. My perspective on product design and manufacturing is that metallurgical engineering has a huge impact on the success of products. And I think a lot of people don't realize this. There are a lot of decisions involved with product design and manufacturing that impact the materials. The material selection for components that are used in a product has a huge impact on the reliability of the product and the performance, and also the cost, because different materials have different performance and reliability and cost. The suppliers that are selected for stock metals, such as bar and sheet and plate, and also suppliers of components, such as cast components and forged components and extruded components, these suppliers have their ability to provide stock metals or to fabricate components that meet your requirements for a specific application is important. And the supplier selection process, or evaluation and selection process, is critical for making sure that you're going to get materials over and over again that meet your requirements. So this is, again, another situation where metallurgical engineering perspective and help expertise is needed. The selection process also involves evaluating the reliability or evaluating the materials that are being considered for use to determine whether they will be able to meet the performance and reliability requirements. A lot of times companies can struggle with passing product testing, that is putting products through various tests to evaluate whether the products can withstand exposure to different use conditions. They might fail those tests and have to repeat the tests because of problems with the materials. These problems can be avoided with evaluation of the materials prior to product testing to make sure that the materials that are being selected have the reliability needed for the application. Then there's also manufacturing process development. Have the process parameters been selected properly that are manipulating the materials that result in the materials that are being, or the output from the process having the right shape and size and the right materials properties, that there's not excessive defects in the output. These are all, again, things that involve materials engineering expertise or metallurgical expertise or materials engineering expertise to think about the process and also the input materials to make sure that the process being developed can produce whatever you're trying to produce over and over again, that it meets your requirements. And then when there are quality problems, what steps to take to quickly fix those quality problems. So there are a lot of different aspects of product design and manufacturing that involve metallurgical engineering considerations. And if we're thinking about all materials, it'd be just materials engineering considerations. But I'm a metallurgist, so I'm focused on products that contain metals. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is different reliability concerns, fatigue, creep, and corrosion. So I'll talk about that. And then I'll talk about how metals can be engineered. What can be done to composition or through heat treating or other fabrication processes to modify and manipulate the properties of metals to get the properties needed for particular applications. And I'll have examples for how metals can be engineered for making improvements to a product or for helping to reduce costs. And then I have other things that I'd like to talk about related to metals. So I'll be talking about all those different things in subsequent podcasts. Hopefully, I'll be able to put out a new podcast once every 2 or 3 weeks. That's it. Thanks for listening. Good luck with your metals, and I'll be talking to you again in the future.